So we already know that finding your first client is going to be one of the hardest challenges of becoming a virtual assistant. And in order to overcome this challenge, in order to find your first client fast, you need to be more aggressive. You need to be more aggressive with the process. And that is why in this video I'm going to share with you 5 places that you can start looking for virtual assistant client even as a complete beginner. Hi there, my name is Sadiq Umar. I am a full-time virtual assistant living in Nigeria, and this video is going to be based on my personal experience of starting virtual assistant and becoming a full-time virtual assistant. Okay, so the very first place to look for virtual assistant client is Upwork. Yes, Opor is my favorite freelancing platform to look for virtual assistant client, because in my experience, most clients who are looking for long-term, who are looking for a freelancer long-term, they go to Upwork, and there are other benefits. This is open for debate, but I believe there are more high-paying clients on Upwork than on other freelancing platforms. So, and even the process of finding client is going to be easier for new virtual assistants to use Upwork. Even if you are a complete beginner, it's going to be easier as a process than if you use other method. So if you are not using Upwork to find client, you need to get on Upwork. And if you don't already have an Upwork account, I have a full tutorial where I shared how you can create your account on Upwork. So you can just watch that and create your virtual assistant profile on Upwork. Okay, the next place to look for virtual assistant client is Fiverr. Fiverr made a lot of changes. Fiverr used to be my favorite freelancing platform, but they made a few changes that made it the second one, because there used to be a buyer request option in Fiverr where you can send your proposals to potential clients that they are looking for to hire a virtual assistant. But Fiverr removed that. They get rid of that and replace it with buyer request. I think that's how they call it. And so for that reason, it has become a little more difficult for new people, for beginners to find clients. But nonetheless, it is a very good place to find virtual assistant client, because I find my first BA client on Fiverr. So it is a good place to look for client. It is actually the second best place to look for client based on my experience. And it is also very easy to create an account on Fiverr. You just need to get on there, create your account. I'm sure there are thousands of tutorials on how to create a Fiverr account. So you create your account, you create your gigs, and you start waiting for briefs. That's what they call it, I believe, buyer brief. When they send you a brief, you check it out. If you meet the requirement, you send your proposal. Okay, the next place to find virtual assistant client is Freelancercom. Freelancer.com is my third favorite freelancing platform, and I like Fiverr.com and Upwork.com more than Freelancer.com, specifically because it takes too much time, in my opinion, to find client. You have to spend a lot more hours on the platform, and also there are less paying clients on Freelancer.com. This is based on my experience, of course. So if you just need to do both. That's why I said you need to be aggressive. If you are aggressive, then you should try all of them. You just get on there, create your virtual assistant profile, and start looking for client. I believe it will take you a little bit more time, so if you have more time on your hands, you can try it out, and there is no harm in trying. If you try it and you don't really like it, you can just stop using it. So this is the third place to find client. And the next one is the one I recommend less for complete beginners, but you should also try everything if you are just getting started, so that, because you won't really know what will work for you until you try them out. And that is Facebook groups. There are a lot of Facebook groups. There are a lot of freelancing virtual assistant Facebook groups, and in those Facebook groups, there are many experienced virtual assistants, and there are many experienced freelancers, and there are others who has an agency. And when someone has an agency, they collect project from client and they outsource the project to other virtual assistant. They take a cut of the payment and they pay the BA. So that's how it works. And there are a lot of virtual assistants that has an agency in those Facebook groups. So if you are in those Facebook groups, it will be easier for you to find agency client. And when you find agency client, you won't have to worry about finding new client regularly, because they will be giving you project on a continuous basis. That is if you know how to do the job right. And this is not to say find Facebook groups and start sending all kind of messages to people who doesn't have any interest in hiring a virtual assistant. That could get you kicked out of the group. So whatever group you choose to join, make sure you read their rules and you abide by their rules to avoid getting kicked out. Some virtual assistants will outsource projects. They will make a post in the group and with the requirement of the virtual assistant they are looking for, and if you are in the group you can just read the requirement. If you meet the requirement, they will include a method that you should send them a proposal and you contact them and you follow their instruction, and it's a nice way to find a client. The only problem is in those Facebook groups there is a lot more competition, because in the groups there are maybe 100,000 members and at least 70% of them are beginners looking for clients. So if you see one post, one job opportunity in the group, there will be at least 100 freelancers who sent already their proposals, who sent their application. So there will be a little more competition, but it's a good way to find clients. Okay, the next one is cold outreach. Cold outreach is a little more complicated. You need to know how to do it right to avoid looking like spam, and it will take you a lot more time. So if you have the time to invest, then you just need to do some research and learn how to do cold outreach the right way. Cold outreach is usually just you find other people that you think they will be interested in your services and you send them an email or a social media message, that's direct message, or whatever method you choose to contact them. You send them a message. They didn't indicate that they are looking to hire a virtual assistant, but you advertise your services to them because you believe your services will be helpful to them. That is called outreach, and this is possible when you have a specific niche, when you have a specific type of people that you follow. For example, if you are creating YouTube thumbnails, then you just need to find some YouTube channels who has not good of a thumbnails, and then you can create some sample thumbnails for them, and you can find their email address and you send them an email with sample of the graphics that you can create for them and a clear description of what you can do for them and how much you will charge to do what it is for them. So that is called outreach. You reach out to either email or social media messages, whatever method you find depending on the type of client you are going after. So this is called outreach, and because you are reaching out to them out of the blue, you need to know how to do it right, because your email, your message might end up in their spam folder, or they will just trash it without even reading. So you need to know how to do cold outreach right. And the key thing is you need to have your things right. You need to have your portfolio right, and you need to know how to write a good email, how to write a good message. You can use software, you should use software like Grammarly to proofread any message that you send to potential client if you are doing cold outreach, because sending emails and messages full of grammatical error, it might be a good way to not get considered, to not get hired. So you can use software like Grammarly to proofread your emails, your message before you send to potential client. Now, there are a lot of mistakes that new virtual assistants make that is preventing them from finding their first client, and you might be making one of those mistakes, and that is why next you should watch this video where I talk about the 5 tough mistakes that most new virtual assistants make and how you can avoid them, so that it will be easier for you to find your next client or your first client very fast. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.